Hello everybody and welcome to GDO mini workshop series. I'm very happy to be a part of education team and to be able to share with you today my knowledge. As Eugene Wozniak was saying, I will be doing a second part of his mini workshop and maybe go a little bit deeper into the details, and in the end of the video I also would like to show you in what figures we are using our forward walk turnings and hip twist turns. So I would like to start by saying that forward walk turning and hip twist turn are completely two different actions. As you all know from Evgeny mini workshop, he already was saying that in forward walk turning we start normally with turning our hip, and the upper part would follow, which is in the hip twist turn is opposite. We start turning our upper part and the hip would follow. Now the amount of turn is always different, depends what we have next. Now, if I go a little bit deeper and talk about how we actually do the turn in forward walk turning. Because it's forward walk turning, you would think it's a walking action. So we would actually start as we would normally do our forward walk, which is spine direction. We're using our staying foot in order to create spine direction. You're ready to go and you place your foot. Now, if you would continue doing the forward walks, you would use your back foot and you use the rolling action of the back foot in order to travel your spine towards the ball of the foot. Then you finish your action with the pendulum action. Then you collect or track your foot and you're ready to go. Now, in forward walk turning, we have to be careful with when we actually start to turn, because in the music, even in rumba, it's quite fast action. So we will start the same as I showed you before by creating our spine direction. Then we place our foot. Now, at this point, it's very important to still feel a very good connection towards the floor in your back foot. Now we roll a little bit in order to be more in the standing foot. But now after that point, I like to use the action of lowering the heel of the back foot. And now I feel that my hip is so ground and so deep that I have to turn. I have no other option. And we would turn normally 3/8 of the turn. It will be approximately here. Now I like to use the last 8 of a turn by collecting my foot and feel connection between the rib cage and the knee, which gives you actually a very compact feeling. And as you can see now, in this moment, I'm not turning my hip anymore, but I'm allowed myself to turn the upper part. And in this case, I have a slightly opposition, which helped me actually to redirect and go into the back walk, for example. Now, there is another option. If we have to go forward straight after forward walk turning, then of course it will be slightly different. So we start the same, spine direction, placing your foot, roll your back foot until this moment. Now I start to lower the heel, I start my turn until 3/8, and now I have to finish my turn, so I actually go into half a turn until here, and now I will do replace and continue going forward. So these are two important tips for me, which can help you to feel also more confident about these turns and more in control. So I also would like to talk about backward turning. Nowadays is not as popular as forward walk turning, but I love this step and I can show you where we actually can use it. For example, if we do a New Yorker in Rumba or in Cha-Cha, the same. So after we did our hip twist turn, into check forward walk, replace, for example, now it's the good time and opportunity to do a back walk turning. Yes, so I can show you also from the side how it looks. Hip twist turn, into check forward walk, replace and back walk turning. Another option is to use it going into three-step turn. I think girls especially, you all have this figure, which after New Yorker, for example, here is a chasse or three-step turn also, you go into check forward walk, change the direction, and now you have a three-step turn. And I like to start a three-step turn also by using a back walk turn. Yeah, so this is just a few examples where you can use back walk turning, but I think it's a very nice step, and for the ladies especially, it's a good opportunity to look better in your body and in your legs. So now I would like to talk about hip twist turn. And because we aim for speed, we have slightly different principles in the preparation, of course. So what I like to do and what is important when you travel your spine towards the ball, and I will show you now. So we create the spine direction as we did before. We place our foot. I think it's very important to have a frame in front of you, because while we travel using the rolling action and the back foot, now already from that moment we have to start to turn our part. And it will be in the same time when I turn my back foot. So it has to be in a relationship and a connection. So what other thing is important, that in the end of the action, we are not as deep as, for example, in forward walk turning, because we need a freedom for the hip to turn. Otherwise, if we go too deep, we might block ourselves, and then it will be very difficult to create a fast turn, for example, or it will look very physical. So if you can see from the front, I will show you again, we place the foot, we use the back foot in order to travel our spine, and in the same time we start already prepare our upper part. And as you can see, I like to lower a little bit the elbow on that side, because in this case I feel a better connection between my elbow and the rib cage. Yes, so when we travel, in the end, you have to be very clear with your one side being on top of the ball of the foot. The second thing is important, to have a long line, and we achieve that using our rib cage. So actually, while I'm traveling forward, I feel that I push my rib cage, or I collect my rib cage in. If I wouldn't do that, in the end, it might be that my stomach is too open. And now it will be also very difficult to create a nice, light and fast turn. Yeah, so I will show you one more time. we prepare. Now, just before we release our hip, I like to feel the maximum, and this action of the lowering the heel of the back foot shows me that now I am ready to go. Yeah, as I said before, the amount of turn can be different. It can be quarter turn, half a turn, or a full turn and hip twist turn. So important is that, of course, you also slightly change your preparation, depends of how much you have to turn, the amount of turn. So for example, if I have to only turn a quarter turn, it would be, this would be enough for me, and I'm ready to go. Now, for example, if I need to turn and do a half a turn, then preparation and the wind up will be different. So I will try to turn my upper part as much as possible, and then continue forward walks. So I think, of course, with the practice, you have to feel how much of what action you have to do. But I was trying today to share my vision of principles, how I like to do them, and hopefully it was very helpful. So now I would like to show you where actually we use our forward walk turnings and hip twist turn. For example, if we do a basic steps, starting with open hip twist, I will do it alone without the partner, but you can see here, for example, the first hip twist turn we have, going into forward walk, turning, yeah. Then if we go into Alemana, we have here two options. We can go into Alemana through the delayed walk, and here we would have forward walk turning, hip twist turn again, opening out, for example, yes, or we can go straight and using the hip twist turn. It depends what you aim for. Yes, would you like to show that it's very fast turn, or as it is in the basic through delayed walk, but actually then we use a swivel action. For example, if we do a hockey stick from the plank position, here we also use again our lovely forward walk turning into the back walk replace. Then, for example, you all know sliding doors. Yeah, it would be the same here. We have actually a lot. We start with the forward walk turning into back walk replace. Here we use hip twist turn into delayed compress into cucaracha, for example. Yeah, as you can see, we have them almost everywhere, and this is just the example of rumba. We have also in cha-cha and in samba. So therefore, I think it's very important to understand the difference between forward walk turning and hip twist turn, and to know the principles and how you can improve them. So I would like to say thank you for watching. I hope it was very helpful for you, helpful information, and we see each other next time.